In the second part of On the Streets with Mary, Father Faccenda is in Lourdes, the land of Mary and the land of the Blessed Sacrament. And in Lourdes, he asks the question that St. Maximilian Kolbe asked many, many times. Who are you? Who are you, Mary? And so in his imagination, he would ask the sick, who is Mary for you? And that's a good question for all of us to ask. Who is Mary for us? Well, the sick answered, she is the health of the sick, because she'll give me strength even if I don't receive physical healing. He asked the sad, and they replied, the comforter of the afflicted. She comforts us in our sorrows. He asked a group of young people, and they replied, she is the Queen of Virgins, giving us hope and showing us how glorious and possible purity really is. She asked the sinners, and the sinners all replied, she is Mother of Mercy and Refuge of sinners. And finally he asked one other, and they replied, she is the Queen of Peace. But these beautiful answers as they were, they didn't satisfy Father. He realized that that was just scratching the surface of who this woman is. And so he went to the grotto, to the source, and he knelt and he prayed. And he prayed, and in his prayer, his eyes fell upon the inscription, I am the Immaculate Conception. And it was then that Father realized the essence of who Mary is. It all stemmed from her Immaculate Conception. If Mary were not immaculately conceived, she would not be the health of the sick, the comfort of the afflicted, the refuge of sinners, the Mother of Mercy, the Queen of Virgins, or the Queen of Peace, or so much more. It's all rooted in that fullness of grace that she received from the moment of her conception. And what is grace but a life with Christ, a life with the Holy Trinity? Now, this is why we can't fully understand the Immaculate Conception, because it's rooted in her relationship with the Holy Trinity, and we can't possibly understand the Holy Trinity. But Father does a beautiful job of explaining it, so for this part I'd like to quote directly. Mary is the daughter of the Eternal Father, who wanted to prepare her as a marvelous monstrance for bringing his Son into the world. Mary is mother of the Redeemer, true mother that was not satisfied with only conceiving him and bringing him to light, but she accompanied him from the first moment until the last. And she accompanies him still as she guides each of us to him. Mary is the spouse of the Holy Spirit, that Spirit that frees us, sanctifies us, frees us from all evil, and gives us peace. And this is when he welcomed the Immaculate Conception, and he understood with a greater depth who Mary is. And not only is Mary this beautiful thing, this beautiful person off in the distance, but he reminds us that Mary is the person that we are all called to be, and we are called to follow her on this daily life, this daily path to holiness which she herself traversed. She is not something lofty and intangible. She's a real person. She's a real mother to Jesus and to us. And so maybe you have a deep relationship with Mary, and you already relate to her and you're satisfied with your relationship. I encourage you to go deeper still. And those of you who want to go deeper. And then there's some of us who honestly don't have a deep relationship with Mary. Some of us might want a relationship with Mary, but we have obstacles in our way, or varying things might be in our minds and our hearts that are creating friction. Well, Father Faccenda, practical as always, comes to our aid, and he gives us 4 points for coming into a deeper relationship with Mary, no matter how fragile or deep that relationship already is. First of all, he says to recognize Mary as your mother and as your queen. Because if we are able to recognize Mary as mother and queen, we will allow her to work more freely in us and through us for the greatest glory of God. Not only that, but we will have that consolation, and we will have that comfort, and we will have that peace, because we know that we are not alone and that we have a queen and a mother so near and so dear to us. Secondly, he says to ask Mary. Ask Mary's intercession. Ask her for help. Ask her to help you overcome things. Ask you to help heal the sick, comfort the afflicted, ask her to bring peace into this world. Ask her to help us to convert into a more and more beautiful, pure, holy daughter and son of Christ. Finally, he says it's important to promise something to Mary. Why? In order to hold us accountable, in order to show that we trust Mary, and in order to do our part. It doesn't have to be something grandiose. You don't have to promise to fast for 40 days in a row. Rather, promise her something that you're able to do. Promise her that you're going to say X, Y, or Z prayers. Promise her that you're going to overcome one sinful habit, and then another, and then another, and then another. Promise Our Lady that you are doing your part to become a saint. In this way, we are able to demonstrate the goodwill that we have to have her in our lives and to love her. She's waiting. She's there. She loves you. All it takes is your yes.